Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ here on All Noise Radio and on the Quantum TV network. I'm Steve Risser here with my co-hosts Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli, and we'll start with Major League Baseball and Bryce Harper, who it's been weird to see where Bryce Harper's been going to go the last couple of weeks. You got rumors he'd be going to the Dodgers, rumors he'd be going to the Phillies, and now you heard yesterday rumors he'd be going to the Giants. But it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. And now I heard yesterday the Phillies backed out. They offered him a 10-year, $330 million deal, but the 3-year opt-out clause the Phillies didn't want to do, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you want to get Bryce Harper, you can't worry about the opt-out clause. I mean, if you're getting Bryce Harper, he's definitely an upgrade on an offense that finished 22nd in runs scored in all of Major League Baseball. So I mean, yes, they did add Gene Segura, they did add JT Realmuto, but if you're going to add Bryce Harper, you can't worry about the opt-out clause, especially for a team that needs offense and production. Yeah. So I mean, now you got the Dodgers, and say that if the Dodgers get him, they're the top team in the NL, and then the Giants now are looking to offer him a 10-year deal as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Phillies opted out or decided to opt out on Bryce because it seemed like they were the front runner for a while. But I think he'll end up going to LA. I think because they're in a good position. They've been in the back-to-back World Series and have finished short. And then he really hasn't gotten that championship with the Nationals. This year they were pretty. They had a tough year, but yeah, it's surprising if the Phillies got him, they probably would win that NL East right now because it looks like it's probably the Braves at this point. So yeah, but I think it'll be LA.
I'm right there with you. I think it's going to be the Dodgers just because you see them. They were just in the World Series. Now, if you had Bryce Harper, I mean, first of all, that I feel like that their payroll is going to be. I mean, that's going to be way up there. The only reason or way I see him going to another team, because obviously the Phillies say they're out now, so they're done. Maybe a team like the Giants. The only way I could see them or him going to the Giants is maybe if they offered him something like $50 million more. Like let's just say, let's arbitrarily throw out a number. Let's say the Dodgers one is 10 years, $350. The only way I see him going to the Giants is if they throw out like 10 years, $400. Now that'd be like next level money. I mean, that's insane. But it's just fascinating and weird and just funky in every way possible how Machado and Harper were thinking to get $400 easy. It felt like people were saying before this offseason. Machado just signed and was with the Padres. People weren't thinking at the beginning that he was going to the Padres. That was not even close. And now he signed with the Padres for a 10-year deal. And now with Harper, people thought, or at least I thought that once Machado signed, Harper was probably going to sign next couple days for a touch more, probably like a couple, maybe an extra like $1 or $2 million per year more, just because he wants. I mean, everyone at that high of a level has some kind of ego, and he wants to fuel that ego and have the highest contract in MLB. But it's just weird. The guy just is still not signed yet. That just makes no sense, because I feel like if you had these guys out in their primes like how they are now, let's say 5 years ago, the instant free agency would start. They'd be gone. It would be like the NFL. The free agency starts for NFL. There's deals everywhere, and now I mean, we're getting pretty close to I mean, I feel like Harper needs to get on a team and start get in that locker room, start building that chemistry with his teammates. He's still unsigned.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we're going to look at the three teams that he has potential to go to, the Dodgers, Giants, and Phillies, and look at how he fits there and how he impacts those teams. We'll start with the Dodgers. If he goes to the Dodgers, I mean, that lineup is still really good with Justin Turner, with Corey Seager, I mean, with Max Muncy, with Cody Bellinger. That's still a really, really good lineup and a really good team. You look at the rotation with Clayton Kershaw and Walker Buehler, and then you got Kelly Jansen in the back end of the bullpen. That might be the NL favorite without Bryce Harper, but if he joins that team, the Dodgers are definitely the favorite in the National League.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then now they have the room out there. They got rid of Puig. He's now in Cincy. So they have that right field sitting out there. So yeah, it would make that lineup so much more better. Even though it couldn't really get much better. Now that Corey Seager's gonna be back this year, Muncy, Bellinger. This lineup's going to be very, very scary, and one of the top lineups now in the league with that rotation. They look prime for a third consecutive NL title.
The one thing I feel like, real quick with Puig, did you hear the thing that he said when he was with the Dodgers he never really tried? I mean, that is just, why do you say that? I mean, no matter what way it cuts it, you couldn't try to frame it. That's just not good. The fact that you were on a team that was uber talented, he's been to the World Series the past 2 years. He said, "Oh, I never really tried." If I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm gonna be like, "Dude, really? So if you just tried, we could have won a World Series. Thanks." I mean, that to me that's just dumb. That to me that's dumb. But I feel like Harper is just him and his whole persona, and just him being one of the most well-known players in all baseball. Him with the Dodgers, it just feels right in terms of that, because obviously they're LA, they get to shine. It'd be like the West Coast version of the Yankees in terms of just to shine and all the notoriety you get on the team. But I just feel like I feel like that would put him over. I feel like that could definitely put him over the top and beat a team like potentially beat a team like the Red Sox or Yankees, or maybe I definitely feel like they beat the Indians in the World Series. But I mean, that would make the lineup, a loaded lineup, even more loaded.
Exactly. So now we're going to talk about the impact if he goes to the Giants. And the thing about the Giants is offensively, they were absolutely terrible last year. The only team to score less runs than them was the Marlins, and we all know how bad the Marlins are. So, the Giant lineup, Buster Posey doesn't have the power he used to have. Longoria is not the same player. Obviously, the McCutchen thing didn't work out for them last year. But even if he goes to the Giants, I think, if Bumgarner could stay healthy, maybe they'd be still, I'd say, a 500 team, because their bullpen's decent. If Bumgarner could stay healthy, maybe they're around 500. But still, I think Bryce Harper would make an impact, but he would not bring the Giants over the top.
Yeah, I don't think he would either. And especially that right field wall that they have, that giant brick wall. That's a long way. It's not really a big hitter's ballpark either.
Yeah, and then if you hit like a screaming line drive to there, it would have been home run every other stadium. You hit that, and then you're just like, double, great.
So who knows what? But yeah, this team really was not good. They really struggled. They thought they could make a nice push with McCutchen and Longoria. It didn't really happen. Belt didn't have a great year. Posey, he was able to stay somewhat healthy. It hasn't been they haven't been great last couple of years. So I think they'd be around 500, because that's a tough division with Colorado. I know Arizona's kind of rebuild mode. Padres aren't going to be great, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to carry he's going to be able to carry San Fran, to like a playoffs or anything. Maybe a wild card, but I don't think they would win the wild card game.
Yeah, the only reason I would say you could go to the Giants instead of the Dodgers would, if they were to offer, like I said before, a lot of money. But I feel like they're not going to offer. I feel like there's no way, unless they offer that absurd contract, because obviously we all know LA's got money. We know for sure they are not short on that. So I really just don't see a reason why you would want to go there, unless for some reason the Dodgers shortchange you and don't offer you nearly as much. Which I don't see why that would happen, but yeah, they're going to be a 500 team at this point. I feel like Harper, he's gotten some taste of the playoff, and obviously with the Nationals hasn't worked out. So I feel like someone like him, at this point you'd want to win that World Series, because you want to be, kind of like a baseball version of Dan Marino, an amazing player. You never win anything. That's the last thing you want. So I feel like if you go to the if you go to the Giants instead of the Phillies or any other team, I don't think you're going to win anything, at least for a couple years, until they, start, fixing everything.
Exactly. Now we'll talk about the impact he'd make for the Phillies, and I think he'd make a big impact for the Phillies. I think he'd be a really good bat in that lineup. I think, yes, they added Gene Segura and JT Realmuto, but they're not the best power hitters. They're more average hitters. You add Bryce Harper, that adds power to that lineup. In a hitter's ballpark, you get protection to Rhys Hoskins, who had a really good year last year. So, I think he would have been a great fit with the Phillies, and he would be able to get back at the Nationals too. That'd be another big reason why you go to the Phillies. And I don't get. They had a contract on the table, 10 years, $330 million, and the Phillies didn't want that opt-out clause for some reason. I think if they had Bryce Harper, looking at their lineup and the way they're pit with Jake Arrieta and Aaron Nola is one of the best pitchers in baseball that nobody really knows about. Aaron Nola is one of the top pitchers in baseball. The Phillies would be a favorite to probably go to the World Series, but that's why I don't really get why they did not want to close that deal with Bryce Harper. This could be the difference of the Phillies finishing in first place or finishing in fourth place. Looking at the NL East, looking at the Mets are decent. The Braves are good. The Braves won the division last year. They're a good team. You got the Nationals, who are still, I mean, even though they don't have Bryce Harper, they got Juan Soto in that lineup, and they got a really, really good rotation with Max Scherzer, with Patrick Corbin, and with Steven Strasburg. So the Phillies could finish from anywhere. The Phillies could have finished in first place. They got Bryce Harper. Now they could finish anywhere now to fourth place that they don't have Bryce Harper. So I'm surprised the Phillies don't want to go after him. I'm surprised the Phillies are probably pulling out of the Bryce Harper sweepstakes.
Yeah, I was surprised because they kind of been that favorite pretty much since like December, January. It kind of seemed like it was gonna be the Phillies, but yeah, and it really would have helped this lineup because it's got such a good young core. And it just would have made that lineup so much more better, so much more talented, and they would have definitely been the favorite in the NL East. And I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised that it was the opt-out clause that they backed out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just seems like a very minor detail. And like you guys said, that if you have him, they're one of the favorites to win a whole World Series. The only thing that I could think of, the only thing I trying to make sense of this is that maybe when they were in contract talks with him, maybe they were feeling that he was gonna automatically gonna opt out after 3 years and then want even more money, and have the price even go up at that point, which maybe, but I mean that's the only thing I'm trying to just make sense of it. Because to me, like you guys said, it's just dumb. You need to have him on the team if you're the Phillies. I mean, you said it was 10 years, $330?
Yeah, 10 years, $330.
I mean, that's good. That's good money, dude. I mean, 33 a year. I mean, why? You shouldn't be complaining about that. But it doesn't make sense because you feel like you go from a pretty good team that's probably gonna make the playoffs and maybe make some noise to being a team that be right there for the World Series. So. Personally, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. So we'll shift over our attention to Nolan Arenado, who the Rockies just locked up to an 8-year, $260 million extension, which is a huge move for the Rockies. They've now locked up their franchise player. He is going nowhere, and I mean, I think this is a great move for the Rockies. Nolan Arenado is one of the best players in baseball that really nobody knows about because he plays in Colorado. But you look at his stats; he hits well on the road, he hits well at home, and this is a huge move for the Rockies, locking him up.
Yeah, it is, and I didn't think he was gonna go back, Kyle. I thought he was gonna go somewhere else. But it's good that that there's still these superstars that still want to play for the hometown, the team that they kind of came all the way up from the minors, and it doesn't seem like we see that anymore.
Yeah, $260 million will do that to you too.
Yeah, he's one of the great players in baseball right now. He's also such a great fielder too. Seems like he always wins the Gold Glove over at third base.
Might as well call it the Nolan Arenado Award at this point.
Yeah, he's a great I put him in like top 10 right now, top players. But yeah, nobody really does know about him because he's in Colorado, not really in one of the big markets. So, but yeah, I mean, it's good for him. I'm happy that he is staying in Colorado because they do have like a good team. I think they're probably gonna. I don't think they'll beat the Dodgers in the division, but I think they could get the wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean that contract is. I mean, now I think we can all agree that when we saw the contract, we were like, "Whoa!" Not the fact that he did resign; it's just the pure money, and that might have contributed to Harper's thing now because people are thinking that if Nolan Arenado is worth that much, how much is Harper worth? So Harper's price probably went up, but. Arenado, I mean, he's a good, not even good. He's a great defender. He's won a Gold Glove the past 5 years, and then at batting, I mean, he puts up stats there. So there's nothing the dude can do, and I feel like you got to lock down. That's your franchise player. You got to lock him down. You don't even want him testing, or even sniffing free agency because you never know. Go to a team like Yankees or a team that has a need that has money. So for the Rockies, great. I give that move an A+. That's a smart move.
Awesome move for the Rockies. So we're going to shift our attention over to the NFL and a story that I really don't want to discuss. This is a family show. I don't like to discuss stuff like this. But Robert Kraft being charged for soliciting a prostitute. I mean, just very, very sad news for the Kraft family and the New England Patriots. You guys both being Patriots fans. Yeah. I mean, it's really, really sad news for the Kraft family. We don't know if it's true or not. We'll see what ends up happening there. But just a very, very sad week for the Patriots with the Bob Kraft news.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I don't really have too many words to say about it. It's just disappointing. I think I feel more disappointed in him. And it's like, how do the players look at you now? How do the coaches, how does everybody look below, how does everybody look at you now? That it wasn't the smartest move, of course not.
It was. It wasn't smart. That thing was just straight dumb.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of more disappointed by his actions. Who knows what's gonna happen with him, but yeah.
I mean, he'll probably get something, probably a touch more than what Irsay got in 2014, I believe it was. With his, I think it was a $500,000 suspension in 6 games. So we'll get a little bit. We'll probably get like probably about half a season. But like you guys said, and especially you, Justin, that as a Patriot fan, when you saw that, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're worth. I believe I looked it up. It was $6.6 billion net worth, and you're going to a random massage parlor in a strip mall. Like, really? Like, I just don't get it. Yeah, and like you said, disappointed is the best word that you could say, because the dude, he's known for doing all of this different stuff with charities, giving money, helping out everyone. He was the model of being, he was the model of just being good as in order. You never heard anything bad with Robert Kraft. And now it's this. It's just like, it really makes no sense to me, because seriously, what are you doing? You're worth $6.6 billion, and you do something just this is just something you should not do, no matter what your net worth is, first of all. But I mean, dude, seriously, now this is gonna stay in his legacy, because now seemed like to me he was squeaky clean. Now you have this, and it's just, I don't know. He's like you said, disappointing and just dumb.
Absolutely, completely dumb. You have 6 Super Bowl rings. You've made billions of dollars owning the Patriots. Just completely stupid to do this.
Yeah, he's probably looking at me, Hall of Fame for an owner, But now it's like,
Yeah. I just hope that they don't try to make an example. Obviously, he needs to get in trouble. That's first of all. He needs to get in trouble. Absolutely, 100%. But I don't want him to do something absolutely ridiculous. Because I want to have kind of make an example of that. So, but again, like you said, disappointed and just dumb.
We got breaking news. Kyler Murray officially measured at 5'10" at the Combine this morning. So this is going to be really interesting to see where he goes. 5'10". I don't think we will never have a player probably has never been a quarterback 5'10" getting taken in the first round of the NFL draft. This is going to be fun to see where he ends up going. I think he's going to be, because of the desperate need at the position, he's definitely going to be a first round pick. Probably Jacksonville or the Dolphins. Whatever team probably doesn't get Nick Foles is probably going to get him. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up going.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be the first round. I don't think Arizona's going to take him. I've heard that I heard the GM said yesterday that for right now, Josh Rosen is our quarterback for right now. I don't know if that I don't know how far you want to take that, but yeah, I think he is still going to be I think he'd be a really, really good quarterback. He just needs to learn, I think, more to be a pocket passer instead of running around more, because he will get beat up pretty quickly. He will get injured very quickly in the NFL. So but he's got the strength. He's at the arm strength. I just worry about the side. But we see Drew Brees. Look at Drew Brees is what, 5'11", 6 feet.
Yeah, at most.
So he's quicker than Drew Brees. So we'll find out. But I think he could still be a really, really good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has to, learn kind of like Drew Brees, because obviously, like you said, he's about 6 foot tall, Drew Brees. That he just finds the angles, and able to throw it so the balls don't get passes don't get swatted down. Well, kind of everything, he's easily going to be a first round pick. Especially I looked up some stuff about roughly what the 40-yard dash that they feel like he could run. I feel like people are saying they could run the 4.3. And now I'm not saying he should be picked over Dwayne Haskins. I feel like it would not surprise me at all if he was after that, just because people are enamored with combines, stats. Like, what was your bench press? What was your broad jump? What was your whatever cone drill? It's just, I feel like he shouldn't be picked over Haskins. But the fact that, you obviously saw what he did in Oklahoma last year in college. That dude put up stats for days. He's right up there with Baker Mayfield last year, who was, we all know, the number 1 overall pick.
And had a really good year last year.
So, oh, yeah. So, you can tell that he does work. He knows what he's doing. He's not just a guy that's just running around chucking something up and hoping for the best. Like, oh, let me just throw it up to a tall receiver. He's making reads. He's making throws in the tight coverage. But what I would do, whoever drafts him, put on tape of Russell Wilson. Be like, dude, this is what I want you to model yourself after. Because you got legs, you got arm, you got accuracy. Now, I want you to use your legs. Yes, I don't want you just to sit there and let a great tool go to waste. But learn to slide, learn to not get hit. And Russell Wilson is the epitome of that as a quarterback.
Absolutely. And because if he runs around and doesn't learn how to slide in this league, he's going to not be a very long career.
It's going to be just like RG3.
And that's why you take Dwayne Haskins over him. You definitely take Dwayne Haskins over him because he has the size. He has the ability. The size does matter in that aspect because if you're taking like a 6'3" Dwayne Haskins versus a 5'10" Kyler Murray, yes, and also Haskins, even though Kyler Murray is also a pass first quarterback, Dwayne Haskins also a pass first quarterback, and that's why I'm taking him over Kyler Murray.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So we talked about another quarterback, a former Super Bowl MVP that the Eagles yesterday are not giving the franchise tag to, and he will be a free agent. And there's 3 destinations where he will go. You could probably lock that in. The Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Washington Redskins. The 2 most likely are the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars because the Redskins have that cap it with Alex Smith of over $20 million, which is a total waste because now he probably might not even start the season. So we'll look at which team. My prediction for Nick Foles, I think he goes to the Jaguars, and I think that's the best fit because you look at the Jacksonville, still has one of the best defenses in football, has a running back that if he could stay healthy, that's a big F. Leonard Fournette, he's one of the better running backs in football, and then their offensive line, people forget a lot of injuries last year. Brandon Linder got hurt. Andrew Norwell got hurt. Cam Robinson got hurt. So they're probably their 3 best offensive linemen got hurt. So if they bring Nick Foles in, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars definitely compete for a playoff spot next year. It's definitely an upgrade over Blake Bortles. And the one thing about him too, Nick Foles, is he can play well under pressure. He had the highest passer rating under pressure of any playoff quarterback last year.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Steve, with Nick Foles going to Jacksonville. One of his former coaches too for Philly down in Jacksonville, I think it's a quarterback coach.
John DeFilippo.
Yeah. So he's already got that bond too because it seemed like he had a nice fit in Philly for that system. Mm-hmm. Now he could run John DeFilippo could run that system down in Jacksonville. It seems like it could be a very good fit. So I feel like Jacksonville's going to be a spot, which, of course, is going to make any quarterback, I think, better than Blake Bortles. So I think pretty much anything's an upgrade at this point. So, Jacksonville D, we all know is great. Fournette, could stay healthy. Maybe another wide receiver, too, to help out on the outside. But
definitely at number 1.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, Jacksonville, that's going to be a very tough division now with Houston. And that could be a very tough division with Houston and Indianapolis, that could be a very tough division a lot,
Yeah. I just don't want to see Miami. I still have nightmares of that Super Bowl. But I feel like Jacksonville, because I think we can all agree, they're about a quarterback away from being Super Bowl contenders. Because think about 2 years ago with Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles played a lot better 2 years ago than he did last year. But they were right there. And it was a 1-score game AFC title against the Patriots in Foxborough, which is impressive.
They had him beat, too.
Yeah, and then, maybe a little help from the referees, but, hey, it is what it is. But, Nick Foles, I feel like he would bring just that, at least, even if he's not, an elite quarterback, he'll just bring some stability to that position, which is what, Jacksonville hasn't had in for forever. Now, what they need to probably do is mix in those RPOs, because that's what made him super effective in Philly. He would just do the RPOs, and it seemed like people still didn't really know how to stop it, because it was still working in the last playoffs. And who knows how far they very well could have gone to another Super Bowl if Alshon Jeffrey didn't drop the ball. I mean, who knows what would have happened, against the Rams. But I feel like if I'm him and I want a chance to win, I mean, Washington, let's just take even Alex Smith's cap hit out of there. They're not going to win. I think we can all say that now. Miami, maybe in 2 years or something, but next year they ain't going to win. Jacksonville, they very well could win if they just draft a couple of the right pieces and Nick Foles plays up to what is lovely that he did in Philly. He could be right there with us, for Patriots and Chiefs, for Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. They need a little bit more weapons on the perimeter. We need better receivers, tight end. They need some more skill guys outside of Leonard Fournette. But yeah, I mean, they definitely be a lot better than 5-11 if they got Nick Foles. That's for sure. So we'll talk about if say Foles goes to the Dolphins. I think it's an upgrade over Ryan Tannehill, but I'd say outside of the three quarterback situations, counting the Redskins are not going to have Alex Smith to start the season next year. I think definitely it's the least upgrade, though, because Ryan Tannehill is better than people think. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is still an average. He's a better quarterback than Blake Bortles. That's for sure. And he did win 7 games last year. With the Dolphin team, let's be honest, didn't have a good offensive line. Their skill guys are very shaky. Not a great running game. So, I mean, if Nick Foles went there, I don't think he would have. I think he'd have success. It's a little bit of success, but I still think the Dolphins would be a 7-9, 8-8 team, even if Nick Foles went there. I just don't think. I think Nick Foles is a good quarterback, but this roster isn't as good as Jacksonville's roster.
Yeah, definitely. And Miami lost their best weapon too last year in Jarvis Landry, so he didn't even have that. You know, they got Amendola, but he's no. You know.
Oh, come on.
I'm saying
Brady made him. Come on.
But he's got I'm saying he's nothing like Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
So they're another team that needs some help. They need a running back. They need some wide receivers. So Tannehill never really. I had Tannehill played pretty good all year. Really, he tore up the Patriots. Even though I guess most of the time it's not really.
Yeah,
I guess
good old miracle in Miami.
So, but Tanne's never been that bad of a quarterback. I always, if they gave him some weapons or something, I think he could be a really good quarterback. But
I always felt like Tannehill would be the quarterback that he's not. He's not terrible, but he's not elite. He's kind of in the middle. Like, he'll do some work. He'll make some plays. Obviously, he can run. That's we all know that. But I mean, I feel like with the Dolphins, I feel like with Brian Flores. In the defense that he ran with the Patriots, if he ran similar something style of that, to how he ran in New England, I feel like the defense actually be pretty effective. If you had Xavier Howard kind of be like his Stephon Gilmore, if a very similar build, maybe Howard's maybe slightly slower, but Gilmore, but it's nothing a huge gap. I feel like it'd be very effective. And they just got to, like you said, work on that offense because you said they lost Jarvis Landry. I've heard that they're going to cut Amendola, so you don't even have him. I mean, you have Kenyon Drake. He's a nice piece, but I don't know. They're definitely lacking on the offensive side, which I feel like that's something they got to draft ASAP. But I don't know. I feel like it could be a good fit. That maybe not next year, but maybe 2 years after they can potentially make some noise, maybe shock someone in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there. I just think those are definitely the two most likely destinations, Miami and Jacksonville. And we'll talk about Washington. I mean, it's not a likely destination at all because of Alex Smith's cap hit. And you look at outside of Adrian Peterson, who I don't think is going to even have anywhere close to the year he had last year. He had a good year last year. He was their best skill guy last year, but I don't think he's anywhere near close to the year he had last year. Their offensive line is pretty good. But I mean, the Redskins would definitely have success. I would say if they get Nick Foles, and I think they'd be the third best team in the NFC East. I think they just like they were last year when they had Alex Smith. I think they'd be better than the Giants. But I still think that the lack of weapons there, he had better weapons in Philadelphia. I think he would succeed a little in Washington. Their defense, their front four is pretty good. Their back seven has struggled. But, I mean, I think he would succeed in Washington a little, but I still think even if he goes to Washington, they're the third best team in that division.
Yeah, they probably second or second or third best team, and that probably the third, but it doesn't. I don't think it's gonna happen with Smith getting all that money too. Now I don't think they're gonna be able to afford Foles, but they'll have Crowder back too. That wasn't really healthy last year either for him, Yeah, AP I don't think he's having a big year. But they'll have Grace back, who was supposed to be the starting running back, and then towards ACL and preseason. So that he'll be a nice addition be a nice addition as well coming back. But I don't think he's gonna. I think it'd be decent for Washington, but they're like Jacksonville, Miami. They need more guys on the perimeter right now.
Yeah, I feel like with Washington, there's a stability of that franchise. I just feel like everyone just feels like the Washington Redskins are just a mess of a team. Like ownership, it's not a good fit. So I feel like if I'm Nick Foles, this point I want stability. Now is Jacksonville the most stable franchise? No, but is it more stable franchise than the Redskins? I mean, I feel like for sure they definitely are. And then Miami, more of a stable franchise than Washington again, but. if he goes to Washington, you're gonna have some nice pieces, but you're gonna be facing the same foes in the NFC East that you were with the Eagles, obviously, but with a lesser team. I don't think that's a formula for success. No matter if Smith was there or not, they can afford him or not. I mean, you're gonna have to face the Giants again. They know how you work with the Eagles. You're gonna have to face the Cowboys. They obviously know how you work. It's gonna face the Eagles. They definitely know how you work. So I just don't. I feel like if I'm Nick Foles, unless they offer some ridiculous contract that they can afford, to me, if I'm Nick Foles, in my eyes, that's a no-go.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's going to Jacksonville. What's your guys' final prediction where he goes? Jacksonville?
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Jacksonville. Yeah, I think Jacksonville would be the best fit, and I think that he would have the most success there. So we're going to talk a little bit NBA, and we're going to be talking about the Lakers. We got a win last night over the Pelicans, but they have really, really struggled, even with LeBron James. I mean, 4-6 since LeBron James returned, which really nobody saw coming. And they've had losses to the Hawks. They've had losses to the Pelicans without Anthony Davis, and losses to the Grizzlies. If you're fighting for a playoff spot, and right now you're currently 10th in the Western Conference behind the Kings, and I think they're 3.5 games behind the Spurs. 3 games behind the Spurs.
3 back, yeah.
Three back the Spurs, and they're behind the Clippers too. You got to win those games, especially when you have LeBron James on the team. I mean, that's ridiculous. I think Luke Walton definitely, if they don't make the playoffs, has got to be fired. There's no way Luke Walton's the head coach if the Lakers don't make the playoffs. There's no way at all. If he's the head coach, there's no way he could come back as head coach if the Lakers miss the playoffs. But I mean, it's been a real struggle for them defensively. They're 23rd in the NBA. Kuzma's had a good year, but he's a good scorer. But I think he needs to improve defensively. LeBron, I'd say this is the time where I think the gap is starting to close between him, Durant, Curry, and Harden, because LeBron isn't as good defensively and he isn't as good of a three-point shooter. So the gap of him being the best player in the world is starting to close, and the Lakers are in big trouble in terms of making the playoffs.
Yeah, they are. Doing 3 back with about 20 games. They have about 20 games left right now. They still are only 3 back. Yeah, and Lonzo's, it sounds like he's being delayed a little bit, but I think they kind of miss him at that point guard. I'm not a big Lonzo fan. I don't think he's anything special, but
he's an old school point guard, and old school point guards in the NBA are not working. The Jason Kidd, Jason Kidd, John Stockton, and Steve Nash are Hall of Famers. But at the point guard position nowadays, you got to be able to score. And the problem with Lonzo Ball, he's not able to score, even though he's been hurt. The issue with him, he's not able to score.
He's not, but I think he can actually give LeBron the ball. He's a good distributor. I think right now, I think they'd rather have. I think Rondo
for playoffs, but maybe not the regular season.
Yeah. Besides that one game against the Celtics, but
I still can't believe. I mean, out of everyone to make a jump shot, Rondo. It's like, really?
Yeah, but
I know you know him from the Celtic days. He couldn't shoot at all.
Yeah.
He's another one of those old school point guards that never evolved.
I could probably shoot better than Rondo.
Yeah.
Not really. Sorry, Rondo.
Yeah, but it's been very surprising, the one game under 500, and it does seem like LeBron, it really seems like, can LeBron actually maybe getting to the point where LeBron can't do it all by himself anymore. It's starting to really look like that.
Especially for 82 games. He could probably do it in the postseason. You saw last year the Cavaliers struggled a little bit during the regular season. In the postseason, LeBron was able to turn it on. I think for an 82-game regular season, he's having trouble carrying the team all by himself. Like LeBron of 2009 with the Cavs when they had no one, he still won 66 games all by himself. But he can't do that anymore.
Yeah, he can't. And in the Western Conference, it's such a tougher grind than it is in the Eastern Conference, Because you got to play the Warriors 4 times. You're playing the Thunder 3-4 times. The Trailblazers, the Rockets. You only have to play them twice. And really, in the Eastern Conference, it was the Bucks. Who were good last year, but they weren't great. The Raptors, the Sixers were getting up there, and the Celtics. It wasn't as tough as a grind as it is in the Western Conference. And I think that's one of the big reasons at his age of getting up there.
Yeah, I think the clip that just shows LeBron at this point was. I think it might have been from 2 or 3 games ago where a guy shot a 3 and he literally just stood there in the paint like he was guarding Ben Simmons or something. The guy just drained it. Then he kind of looked around and was like, "Guys, what are we doing?" It's like, I want to feel like I wish one of his teammates would have gone up to me like, "LeBron, I understand you're LeBron, but you can't be blaming us, us for that. That's not our fault at all." So I just don't understand, why you're complaining to us about that. But I feel like if he doesn't make the playoffs at this point, I feel like you can finally end the discussion that he's the GOAT over Jordan, because I still always felt like that Jordan was better, but that I felt like it was a legitimate conversation that you could have. But at this point, people always said that the reason why he won so many finals because he was in the East, and the East was a lot easier than the West. And then you finally go to the West, and you don't make playoffs, right then and there, you're confirming everything that everyone just said to you. So I would not say he's the GOAT now, and I definitely for sure would not say he's the GOAT after that if he does not make playoffs.
There is no way he's better than Michael Jordan if he doesn't make the playoffs this year. Jordan never missed the playoffs in his prime. There's no way he's better than Jordan if he misses the playoffs. And you look at the Lakers' upcoming schedule. We got 4 of their next 5 games are at home, but they're tough ones. I mean, they play Milwaukee at home on Friday night. They go to Phoenix, they should win that. Then they host the Clippers. They should win that. But who knows? The Clippers are fighting for a playoff spot. That needs to be a win. They host the Nuggets, which that's going to be a tough one, but I still think that's a game they need to win. And then next Saturday night they play the Celtics at home, which the way the Celtics are playing, they should win that game.
Yeah, I think
Celtics.
They're getting I think they're at the point with about 20. They have 21 games left. You're 3 back. You're pretty much at the point where you got to win all of them. I think you're pretty much in. He said he's activated playoff mode.
I think they got to win 16 out of the 21 games. 16 out of 21 gets them in, I think. Yeah, I think 16 out of 21.
Yeah. Maybe he activated playoff mode. You got to press that button a little bit harder.
Yeah, so we'll see. So he's in playoff mode according to him. So I think they're pretty much they gotta then they caught a big break with Bagley again and knee sprain last night. Don't know how long he's gonna be out. So Kings are down to starter. Courts, Tobias Harris is gone. Spurs are still hanging around. So there is a very good possibility they could get in. So we'll find out next couple weeks, but. It's time to start winning now.
I mean, you need to play great basketball, but imagine, and I feel like the Warriors would definitely just destroy the Lakers in 4 or 5 games max. But could you imagine if you're the Warriors in your first playoff series, you got to face LeBron? Be like, really? Like LeBron out of everyone? Like where they're probably hoping just get the 7th seed. We don't want to face you first round. But I mean, this team is the most disappointing team in the NBA. Look at all the talent, or the talent that people thought that they had, and people were thinking, "Oh, this team's gonna be right there potentially." Maybe give the Warriors a run for their money. If some people thought that for some reason, and look at this, potentially not even make playoffs. I mean, that's a bad look for everyone involved. Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, LeBron, Magic, Lakers in general. Terrible look.
Yeah, I mean, it has been disappointing for the Lakers. Looking at their talent, you thought with Kuzma and Ingram adding LeBron, they'd easily be in the playoffs, but they're not. But moving on to another very disappointing team this year, and we're going to move on to the Celtics. And they've lost their first 4 games coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, Marcus Morris questioning the team's leadership. Is Kyrie Irving a great talent, but is he really a leader? This team has not played well at all. They've lost the last 2 nights. They got crushed to the Raptors on Tuesday night, and last night they lost at home to the Portland Trail Blazers. It's been a real struggle for the Celtics. I mean, chemistry-wise, they just don't seem to be playing together at all. Kyrie Irving, as I've said, a great talent, but not a leader, not holding these guys accountable, and it has really shown with the Celtics. Right now, 5th in the East. I'd say they're the 4th best team in the East because the Pacers lost Victor Oladipo, even though the Pacers are playing better than them. But if the Pacers had Oladipo, I'd say they're the 5th best team in the East. This team could if they play the Sixers in the first round, they could very easily go 1 and done.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I don't think they're sliding from this 5th hold of being up 6 on the Nets. So I think they're going to be able to hang around the 4th or 5th seed. It doesn't look like their chemistry's there. Kyrie, you figured he learned that he would have learned how to be a leader playing with LeBron, but it doesn't seem like he has really learned. It doesn't seem he doesn't really want that quality of being a leader. And then Gordon Hayward hasn't really played well. He played all right when Kyrie was hurt, and you may be thinking, he hasn't played great since the break, All-Star break. It's concerning. It's something they really need to figure out very quickly, or what Steve said, they will be done in. I think the Sixers probably beat them in 5 to 6 games. They could be a very quick playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's the reason why Kyrie, I feel like, is having all these issues with the chemistry is that a lot of these players, they weren't. Even if they weren't originally drafted by the Celtics, they aren't like a high, top 5, 10, 15 player. Like Horford, he actually wasn't drafted, drafted by the Celtics. He was drafted by Atlanta. But he's not that, an elite player. Morris is not that, an elite player. Good player, but not elite. And so they were kind of like a band of brothers. Now you have this guy who comes in, a couple years ago. That's an elite player, one of the better point guards in the whole NBA, and he now kind of feels like he's going to assume the role of leader. I feel like that probably didn't sit that well with them. For some reason, it's like oil and water. It just did not mix. And I feel like the Celtics feel like that they're better without Kyrie when he's not on the court. Maybe in terms of chemistry, but overall talent, I think we can all agree. Like Rozier, very nice point guard, no doubt. He ain't Kyrie. I think we can all agree with that, especially in the clutch. I mean, Kyrie's one of the most clutch, players in the NBA. Made the biggest shot in Cavaliers history. But they need to figure it out because they were. I feel like if they had it all going, they'd be right up there with the Raptors as the best team in the East. And now with this, I mean, if you went, this would be a catastrophe. If you went one and done in the playoffs, I mean, that's no good. I mean, you got talent and you got depth, and you're one and done. That's no good. And at that point, you could definitely be for sure Kyrie ain't coming back.
Oh, no way. And I think that's affected the Celtics' play. I mean, I think he's going to be. If the Celtics lose round one, he's definitely gone. I think it all depends on how far the Celtics go in the playoffs, if he's coming back or not. But I think this free agency thing has really, really been a distraction for Kyrie Irving. Oh
yeah, man. I think it really has, and I think it's been a distraction for the whole team. Because I think the Celtics kind of think, he is leaving. Do we, even care about it? Care for him at this point? And it's a huge mess, and it's something Brad Stevens really's got to. I know it's different in the NBA because all these guys are making so much more than Brad Stevens. So it's like how much you listen to your coach at this point. But I think Brad Stevens got to try to get through to him. Even try like some team building, activities or something.
Yeah, let's sit down and talk it out, like man.
Let's try something.
Players only meeting.
Let's try something. Clearly they're not gonna get the 1 or 2 seed, but you can get up there to the 3 and play the Nets in the first round, and you're only 3.5. You're only 3 games back of the page to third place. So.
Yeah, it's weird though how Kyrie's whole mood has changed, because I remember, I don't know if you saw this, but at the beginning, I think before the season even started, they held a little function maybe for season ticket holders, or it might not have just been just fans in general if you wanted to come, but they had Kyrie Irving, I think Gordon Hayward, and maybe 1 or 2 other players talk, and they gave Kyrie Irving a mic, and he's like, well, if you guys want me back, I'll be back. And everyone cheering. They wanted him back. It felt like he wanted to be back, and now it's it's been a whole complete 180. Now it feels like he doesn't want to, be there. It feels like, I don't necessarily know if the team wants him back. It's just, the fact that you walked into a situation where you could have been one of the best teams in the NBA, and now it's a mess. Complete mess compared to what it could have been.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you there, Kyle. So we're going to wrap up the show talking about a little bit of college basketball, and we're going to start off with UConn. Justin was in the building on Sunday when the first UConn national championship team got honored. Justin probably doesn't remember watching it because he was only 1 year old. Me and Kyle probably remember watching it because Kyle, you were like 6, right? 6. I was 8.
Probably.
You were 6. So it was.
Let's just say I was 6.
Yeah. The first ever UConn national championship team was honored with Khalid El-Amin, Richard Hamilton, Jake Voskuhl, Kevin Freeman, Ricky Moore. How was it being in that building on Sunday to see the team get honored?
It was great. The energy was great. It was great to see Calhoun and all those guys were back, especially Rip. I didn't even see Rip till halftime. I didn't see him behind the bench. So I was like, wow, he didn't show. But it was cool to see everybody, and it really, I think, picked up the spirits knowing that one of your national champions are here. It felt great, and it was nice to see because of course I didn't get to watch it. They had the one shining moment, the video from when they won it. It was a great show, and UConn did a great job with it.
Oh, it looked like it did. Yeah, I didn't see it. I was actually listening on the way home. I heard the interview with Jake Voskuhl. It was a really good interview. Wayne Norman had the interview with Jake Voskuhl. It was a good interview.
Oh yeah. It was great to see all the guys. It was again, I don't know if Hurley will ever get us back there, but I feel like Hurley can get us to be in that in the tournament every year. But it was cool to see everybody. I haven't seen Calhoun there all year, and it's been disappearing more and more. I know he's at the program at St. Joe's now, but it was great to see. And it was fun.
Well, and it kind of reminded you like UConn, men's basketball, kind of like your quote unquote like glory days. Kind of reminds you like if you put in hard work, look at what you can become.
Yeah, you become national champions.
And they got Ray Allen ceremony on Sunday, honoring him for making Hall of Fame. I was going to, but I just found out after work now Sunday. So I'm disappointed now because I love Ray Allen, but disappointed now I can't go. But
Justin's work, let him go.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the UConn team currently, though, and they have two. They've really been struggling. They've lost 4 in a row, 5 in a row, five in a row. Yeah, I mean, the one thing about this team, though, you got to give credit to is the way Hurley has them competing. I mean, you saw at Memphis, they were down big. They competed in that game. The Houston game, they were competing. Sunday against Cincinnati, they were competing. That's the difference from this year to last year. Even in the games when they've lost Jalen Adams, they lost Jalen Adams during the Temple game. Hurley still has this team competing, which you did not see last year from Kevin Ollie. Hurley's really has this team competing, playing hard, trying to change the culture here. And, I mean, they have 2 winnable games at Wichita State tonight, who they beat earlier in the year up at Gamble. And then they got at home against UCF at Gamble. I think they split. I think they lose tonight at Wichita State, but then they beat USF at Gamble. Like, they get revenge from earlier in the season, beat USF at Gamble on Ray Allen Day.
Yeah, they have been competing, which is making me happy because it looked like they went down 15 Sunday. They didn't score for like 5 or 6 minutes. They came on a nice 16-0 run, took the lead, and then the East Hartford kid, Karen Bruin, a UConn fan, absolutely.
2 huge shots he hits.
I can't believe he hit that second one. It's just, it just seems like luck has him out on UConn's side like a couple years with all the injuries, the big shots, But, yeah, they are competing. It's been great to see. Gilbert coming back again after injuring his shoulder again. He started to get maybe in a little bit of a flow. He's still struggling a little bit. But I don't see them winning tonight. Wichita always plays great at home. Greg Marshall's got the team playing better. They're not still, their record's still around 500, but they're playing better. And I feel like, Wichita will get them at home. They always play well at home. I think they do get South Florida, but Brian Gerger's done a great job at South Florida. Again, they're supposed to be 12th in the conference right now. They're like 79th right now in the net ratings. They're looking at an NIT bid. He's done a great job with that team. So that's going to be a tough one Sunday. Jalen Adams was expected to maybe play next Thursday on senior night. It would be great to have him back, especially for senior night. So if they can maybe somehow steal a Temple game Thursday night, team on the bubble, maybe win a game or 2 in the AAC. Maybe you steal an NIT bid. Maybe you get to play a couple extra couple extra days of practice. Get these younger guys more practice. But yeah, they have been playing better. I've liked the way they've played. I just wish they play a full 40 minutes like this. That's the next step, I think, instead of kind of playing, well for a few minutes and stop, and then you get down by 15, and then it's like, oh my God, we got to make a huge push here. But that's the next step. But it's a young team. I like the recruiting classes coming in, but I like what Dan Hurley's done.
Yeah, I feel like Hurley, even if your team isn't the greatest in the world, if you just have that energy as a coach, especially with college, I feel like college players react to that a lot better more than pros would. It's a step in the right direction. You keep getting talent, you keep just developing and making that the culture how he wants and just energy. I feel like he's gonna have UConn pointing in the right direction.
Definitely. So we're going to shift and talk about Zion Williamson, he's missed the last 3 games. The first 25 games of the season, Duke only lost 2 games. They won 23-2. But now since Zion's been out, they're 1-2, losing to North Carolina, the game Zion got hurt, and then losing the game Tuesday night against Virginia Tech. And this is definitely a different team without Zion Williams. Reddish and R.J. Barrett are great players, but without Zion, Duke does not have that third scorer, and it's really showing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. O'Connell actually stepped up the other night he had a big shot for Duke. He still only had 6 points. They don't really have that guy. Trey Jones had 9, but he's not a huge scorer. He's more of a distributor than scorer, which, if he could come more of that. But yeah, it's Zion is, it's been, of course, it's going to be a tough loss. He's the best player in college basketball. Again, they struggled from 3. They were 7 for 21. It's just, you don't have that guy. You don't have to worry about, Zion. R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish are still great players, but they're not. Zion's a different animal, I think, than anybody else. So, but Virginia Tech's but they lost to a very good Virginia Tech team. This is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. They didn't shoot it well, but they found it well enough to win. So, watch out for Virginia Tech in the tournament because they could shoot. Duke has been, struggling. but they have the toughest remaining schedule too in the country, so that's also part of it. But Mike says he's a good coach. I think they will get it done. Zion's gonna come back. He's not gonna sit out. So Duke should be Duke should be fine. I think
the biggest problem for the Duke without Zion, I mean, obviously scoring is one of them, but I just feel like they are like Charmin soft in the paint. I feel like you could just put anyone there and they would just bully them in the paint and just have their way. And I feel like that's the biggest issue, especially you saw when they faced off against North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina had their way with them in the paint. It was like no contest. It was Swiss cheese out there. It was Zion. We know Zion would have definitely made it harder and definitely would not have scored that much, but they need to, I feel like maybe they need almost, at least it feels like to me watching it now, is that they relied on Zion almost like too much for some reason, which is really because Coach K, he's a smart coach, one of the best ever. You have talent on Duke, but now it's like without Zion, it's almost look like they're lost. They don't know what to do. Like RJ Barrett wants to become that leader, but it's not exactly clicking for some reason. Trey Jones, it's like you said, it's not like that. The high-level scorer, which they would definitely need now at this point without Zion, but and then Cam Reddish, he's nice, but again, they're all just in general just not stepping up to the plate, and I don't understand why without Zion, because you need to do that, and they need to focus that now and step up, because if you start losing it, and you start having bad habits, you get to the to the tournament. You have bad habits. That's a formula for going home early.
Definitely. You look at Duke; they start 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore. So we'll see what ends up happening in the tournament. They'll have the most talent, but with being a young team, we all know in the tournament, young teams with a lot of freshmen happen to struggle in the tournament.
We saw happen when they played Gonzaga out in Maui in Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Senior-led team.
Definitely. So we'll talk a little bit of the college basketball games this weekend. And we'll start with a matchup in Tuscaloosa where the number 13 ranked LSU Tigers headed to Alabama, who's fighting for a spot in the NCAA tournament. I think Tremont Waters and Naz Reid are going to be too much, and I think LSU wins this game, I'd say by 5 or 7 points.
LSU's been playing very, very well. They got a great one last week at home at Tennessee after Tremont Waters, 20 minutes before the game, it broke that. He was sick and didn't play, and they still come out and won a very good one. Very good win against Tennessee. So, yeah, I think they'll go to Alabama and win. I think Alabama will keep it close, knowing it's a huge game for them, trying to get off the bubble, try to get in. But I think Reid and Waters is going to be too much for them.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I just feel LSU is going to win, like you said. Alabama, and they're going to tend to keep it close because it's a rivalry. But I feel LSU, they're just too talented. They'll end up winning the game.
We have a huge matchup at 2 o'clock on Saturday in Knoxville as the Kentucky Wildcats have been playing great. Probably one of John Calipari's best coaching jobs. Travels to Tennessee to face the Volunteers of Tennessee with Rick Barnes doing a really good job this year, but they have struggled lately, especially on the road, losing to LSU without Tremont Waters, losing to Kentucky, and then almost losing to Ole Miss last night. But I think Tennessee wins this game close. I think being at home is going to help Tennessee. They played great at home this season, and I think they win this game close. I think Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield are the difference. I think they outplay Tyler Hero and Keldon Johnson. I think is Reed Travis is not playing, right?
I have not heard anything. I don't think out the other night. I haven't heard any. I don't think he is, but
I don't think he's going to play. And I think that's going to be the difference. I think Tennessee wins this game.
Yeah, Tennessee's got to do a much better job though in the paint. Kentucky outscored them 36-20 in the paint last game. PJ Washington at 23. They need to do a better. Grant Williams needs to do a better job on him this time. He did score 17, I think, but I don't like the way Tennessee has been playing, though. I really don't. I think Kentucky's going to get them. Kentucky sleptwalked that first half against Arkansas the other night. Did not play well. John Calipari was not very happy with the locker room.
Oh, no.
I don't know what he said to them the other night, but they came out in the second half.
Probably a lot of stuff you can't repeat.
No, exactly. Yep.
They came out on like an 18-2 run in the second half and got the win against Arkansas. So I think they go to, I think if they have Reed Travis, Kentucky wins. I think Tennessee will get it by a point or two, but I have not liked the way Tennessee's been playing. So I'm very nervous about this pick, but I think Tennessee does come out with it, but Tennessee's got to do a much better job in the paint.
Yeah, I feel like that Kentucky's going to end up winning this because I think Calipari and probably all of the Kentucky fans in general are liking how the team is now because the way like Duke has all the shine and all that the whole year. That's what Kentucky was.
And we remember how bad Duke beat Kentucky in the first game.
Yeah, so, and it wasn't looking good the first game, and then, without having the shine on them, they can kind of, and I feel like it's weird for Kentucky basketball, but they kind of maybe sit in the background a little bit and not get all the national news, which I feel every day it's Duke, it's, Zion, before he got that, that injury. And it's, you're not seeing Kentucky on SportsCenter. And I feel like that they're liking that, and kind of like run under, underneath the radar a little bit. But I feel like that's what Coach Calipari is liking that, and he's gonna have this team play because I feel like he wants to show them that they could, be right up there with one of the top teams in the league. And I feel like they want to get another shot at Duke, that just to show that week one that was a fluke. That's not what Kentucky basketball is, and I feel like that's probably the team that they're focusing on for the future in the tournament.
So we got a Big Ten matchup in West Lafayette as the Buckeyes travel to Purdue to face the Boilermakers, and I think Carson Edwards will be too much for the Buckeyes. Purdue wins by double digits.
Yeah, Ohio State played very well the other night. Iowa, they're on the ball. They beat number 22 Iowa by 20 that night. We'll see if they'll be able to follow up. I don't know. Carson Edwards been very good. He's a guy nobody really talks about, but he's averaging around 20 points a game. This is a good. Purdue's always a good team. They're right now trying to play for the Big Ten regular season. They're still right in the hunt for that. I think Purdue will win by about 10. But I think wouldn't be surprised to see Ohio State keep it closer.
Yeah, I feel like that Purdue's gonna win. I feel like Ohio State's gonna keep it close for a little bit, but then Purdue is just gonna be too much for them in the second half. Though, and then like you said, win by double digits.
We got an AAC matchup down in Houston as the UCF Golden Knights with Taco Fall, BJ Taylor, and Aubrey Dawkins go to Houston to face the Cougars, and I think Houston wins this game. I think it'll be a close game because I think UCF is the more talented team, but I think Houston is the more together team and the better coach team with Calvin Sampson, and I think that Houston wins this game by 5.
Yeah, this would be a great one. College game day is going to be there. It's huge publicity for the AAC. It's huge, but if you haven't really seen both these teams play yet, which people
we know Justin has a lot.
Of course, I love watching Taco play. 23 points.
Taco's overrated, dude.
23 points.
He's overrated. He's overrated. He's a 7'6" guy who can't score. Come on, he's overrated.
He's shooting 80%.
He's overrated.
80% from the field.
He's 80% when you're right in front of the basket. Come on, he's overrated.
He has a great first name now.
Taco Fall, yeah.
But they've been playing well. UCF's, I'm surprised they're still kind of like, people have them by first four in or first four, without a bye. This is a really good team. Aubrey Dawkins could shoot. The coach's son who played for Michigan. BJ Taylor's a great player. Taco played great on Sunday, but Houston's very lengthy. They can shoot, and they lost their best player in Rob Gray Jr. last year. They lost at the buzzer to Michigan, who, went to the finals. And they had most of the pieces back. So this is a very good Houston team at number 8. They deserve to be at number 8. But I think Houston at home is going to win by 5 or 6 points. Calvin Johnson did a great job. His first year, they were 3-11 or something in the conference. They finished last. And 4 years later, look at them. They're 8th in the country sitting there. So he's done a great job at this program.
I'm just going to go with Team Taco just based off of his name. I'm just rooting for Team Taco. That's all I got to say.
Got an ACC matchup in Clemson as North Carolina goes to Clemson to face a team hoping to make the NCAA tournament. And I just love the way North Carolina is playing right now with Colby White. They got a good mix of veterans and rookies. Colby White, you got seniors like Cam Johnson, Luke May, who are playing really, really well. And I'm going with North Carolina in this game.
Yeah, I'm with North Carolina. You know what I love about North Carolina is they get to the free throw line. They shot 37 free throws the night at Syracuse. They hit 34 of them. Like that's how you're supposed to. That's how I love. I love when teams do that.
That's free points right there.
Yeah, that's 34 points off free throw. You don't really see that too often because teams are just chucking. But I love Luke May, good. Cameron Johnson, Colby White, who's been playing really, really well lately. He put up 34 the other night at Syracuse. This is a good North Carolina team. And again, they're battling for that ACC number 1 spot. They're battling for a 1 seed. I think they'll go to Clemson and win by about 10.
Yeah, I feel like when you have the good mixture of like freshmen, seniors, and you have the good, you can combine it all. Plus with great coaching, I mean, I feel like there's no way North Carolina ain't gonna win this.
No way. No, North Carolina will definitely win. So our last matchup we'll talk about is on Sunday. Michigan goes to Maryland to face the Terrapins. And I think Maryland wins the game in an upset by 3 points. I think Bruno Fernando is too much for the Wolverines. I think Maryland wins this game.
Yeah, Maryland got absolutely hammered last night, and Penn State lost by 17. They did not really show up to play. I don't know what it was, but I think they do bounce back at home against Michigan. I think maybe it was a little bit of a look ahead. I think they do bounce back. Michigan did not play very well Sunday at home. Michigan State, Michigan State's down 2 starters right now. I didn't really like the way they played. The defense wasn't great. Jordan Poole played great. That was really all about it for Michigan. But I think Maryland will be able to bounce back, and I think they'll get the win.
Yeah, I feel like Maryland's just going to want to, put that loss behind them. They're going to, come out guns blazing after losing 17. I mean, they're going to want to show that, that was just a one-time thing, and they're going to be all for it, and they'll probably end up winning. That's
going to wrap it up this week for Sports Talk with RKJ on All Noise Radio and the Quantum TV Network. For my co-hosts, Kyle Galuli and Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Bryce Harper has found his team. We'll talk some NFL franchise tags, some NBA and college basketball. Have a great weekend, everybody.